Well, hey everyone. Let me mute this site. mute my YouTube just in case. And how's everybody doing tonight? Probably don't have any comments yet. Nobody knows we're here. So I think everybody's done with their live chats for tonight. So I figured I would pop on here, see what's shaking. Put this on live chat. So hopefully everyone's doing good tonight. And hey, how's it going? Not much, just hanging out and putting together some swarm troopers. So if you haven't seen a swarm trooper before, this is a pretty cool little deal. It's not very expensive for a swarm trap. It's a lot of features to it, so thought I would take a second. Let me drop a link. Invite link, copy link, drop it in the chat. Drop that over. Let me pin it. Oh, I can't see over my microphone. Pin message. There we go. All right. So, yeah, just getting some work done, putting together the swarm trooper. Dun, dun, dun. So I've I caught that swarm out at the Canadian company, and so they said I could put some swarm traps out. So I figured I would get a few of these to where I could strap them around their fence or something, Figure out how I'm gonna do that, because there's nothing in the top that would hold that in, right? Or like it's not laced through the top like it is through the bottom there to be able to hold it in place. So I got to figure out how I'm gonna strap it around their fence. But I got called out again today. They had bees on the same van. So I got to stop. I got to figure out a way to get the bees. Actually, I figured out how to get the bees to stop going to the van. I actually sprayed some of my own honey Be Gone on there that I make, or honey robber, or whatever you want to call it, the honey rustler, whatever you want to call it. But I figured I would go over this little piece of equipment. It comes in a flat pack. You can buy it assembled, which may be what you want to do. But the flat pack, I got 4 of them. They're around $50 a piece. I just figured at a new factory, that these would not be an eyesore. They would kind of blend in there with what they got going on. Let me top the ratchets on it. And I got it's got an extra lock here. I don't know how that will be over time, trying to pop it open. Because again, it's just corrugated board, and I don't want to, it's kind of rigid when you first get it. So maybe over time of breaking those on and off. And then it's got a inner piece here that it does have a spot where you can put a feeder, which is what I've got in the top there. But it's just a piece of corrugated box with the straps that go through it. And then you got to screw the frame rest on and the disc and fold it all up. So it's kind of a interesting deal here. Vent, but vent it after you get them home. But yeah, so this was I think a inexpensive alternative to some of the more pricey ones on the market. And then this piece that comes on there is supposed to somehow go on here as a feeder ring, but I haven't seen that video yet. So that's kind of it. That's the deal. So, hey, James, jump in. We got to talk about my queen cells that I don't think are living. They might be living. I don't know. They should have hatched today. My first grafts. But my first grafts are now, since they were supposed to hatch today, I went ahead and did lift them straight up to look at them. And there's a ton of, royal jelly still in there. And I don't think they're going to live, to be honest with you. Don't know that to be the case, but I know the ones that hatched out that I bought did not have that much royal jelly left in them. So we're going to have to play that one by ear and kind of see. Trying to cut this little feed port out. Make it look all special with the plug on it. There you go. Swarm Trooper logo in. There you go. Nice and plugged up with the Swarm Trooper logo. Make it look like a finished product, right? It's going on a multi-million-dollar company's property. It's not that they paid for them. So if they paid for them, I'd be a little bit more specific. But I got to put some frames in there, some older frames. And there we go. All geared up. Flip these over the top. Lock the box. I probably need to have some caution live bee stickers on them, right? So somebody's not out on a smoke break and says, hey, what's this box? And the next thing you know, they're getting zapped about 100 times. But they're pretty good. If they see bees, they call me, because they've called me every day since I caught that swarm out there. So they just don't want anybody hurt. And they're landing on the cars. That's the big thing. The cars, I guess, are the big issue. And there you go. Swarm Trooper. You can get these at beetlejail.com from Dave over there. He's matter of fact, has a swarm lure, but his swarm lure is my swarm lure. That's what it is. It's my swarm lure and his label on it. So we got a little co-op going on there. But it's all good. That's how we did business at Hive Life. So yeah, that's what you get. You get a pack, flat pack box. I bought 4 of them. They're about $50 a piece, guys. Not bad. What day is today for your queen, Bob? Well, by my spreadsheet, let me look at the spreadsheet. I grafted those on February 26th. It said Thursday the 9th, queens emerge. So today should be 16 or 17. My other queens should be capped tomorrow. I haven't even looked at them. The only thing I've done is pop the top off and put syrup in it. In the top high feeder. Haven't looked at them at all. So, they should be capped tomorrow. So keep it on the same schedule. So the only thing that worries me is, okay, so these are the cells that I bought, right? And when they hatched out, I could definitely see by putting the light behind it that there was no royal jelly left in the cup and they were hatching out. And when I looked at my cells a little while ago and lifted it up, these were full of jelly still. So I don't know if they died. Don't know. I could definitely see this top piece was full of royal jelly in the cup that I got in there. So we'll have to see. Don't know. Maybe it does. They don't hatch. It's a learning process, right? And so that's what we've been doing. And let me see. Yep, we seen the video. So we're going to see what's going on. If anybody wants to join in, it's linked. Otherwise, this could be a short video night. I just was sitting here putting that swarm trooper together and thought I would go on here and see what was going on. I do like the fact it is kind of slick how you did that, Grayson, where you took a Russian. Okay, well, maybe that's the. Well, hey, Jason, I got those cells are in the incubator now. They've been in the incubator, so hopefully, I don't know. Maybe they hatch. All right, James is coming on in 5. I did let this afternoon. I let out my the swarm I caught off the Mercedes. It was 48 hours, and I let them loose. They were busy today, getting out there, and they drew the cells off the Italian eggs, huh? I do kind of like that concept of how you did that, where you took the queens out, but you gave them eggs from 2 different breeds. So if they raised cells on either one, as long as you had it marked what was what, you would know, hey, this is a Russian queen, this is a Italian queen. They'll be okay, you think? I don't know, man. I figured they would have hatched out by now. But, my other ones hatched later. I got it at 93 degrees. Yeah, Lisa, I would set up your incubator so it's at temperature and humidity that you want it to be set at. I did that a few days ahead of time. And, with my other ones, all 5 hatched out. So these 2 are the ones that I did, and I don't know if they'll hatch or, if they're any good. I don't know. So we're just waiting to see on that one. So I haven't looked in my second set of graphs. I'll do that tomorrow at some point and see. I don't know how many took, how many didn't take, how many. I totally have not touched that other than open the top to make sure there was always, yeah, it's so I grafted 22 cups the second round, right? So I don't know. I haven't looked in it. I just put food in it. That was it on the top. Yeah, I've got mine set at 93 degrees, and it took like an extra day and a half from what the other queen breeder said that they would hatch out. It took them a little bit longer. So yeah, that's what I've been doing tonight, guys. Putting 7. My humidity was high for a while, but 60% 60 to 70. The Russian genetics will be turned to Italian because they drew cells. Well, I don't think, unless you let those cells hatch in that colony, if you let it hatch, then you keep it up to 75%? Okay. Well, James, I told James mine was at 70% at one time, and he looked it up. He said 60 to 70%. 70 is kind of the high limit, but I guess if it works, man, for you, let it roll. Let it roll. But we're going to see, now I've got a couple more colonies out there. I got a guy that called me yesterday. Hey, you got any mated queens yet? Nope. As soon as they come back, start laying, I'll have I can verify it, then I'll cage one up and sell it to you. But until then, we're just doing what we're doing, letting it roll. This week has been such a busy week. I haven't even been in the colonies really at all, other than adding some feed to them. Specifically, the queen that I'm grafting off of, and the colony that I'm putting my cells in. Those are my two main ones that I make sure feed are on, and then the other ones. Yeah, I put honey in the. Matter of fact, you can see some right there. I got honey in the bottom of my roller cage, so when I put the cell in, when she hatches out, she can come down and nosh on the honey in the bottom, and I try not to keep them in the cage that long, right? So what I'll do is, oh, well, there he is. As soon as this photo comes in, so I'll take the cell. Once she's hatched, I'll pull the cell off, and then I'll drop in the cap, right? And that's what I use. All right. Well, maybe he's not doing video tonight. What's up, Mr. McNally?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
There we go.
Oh, it's onesie night. That's right.
And I'm going to make Charlie proud. I got my popcorn.
I'm surprised Charlie hadn't popped in here yet.
So
how are you, sir?
I am tuckered.
So you're saying not to worry about my queens, even though I see that the whole cup is pretty much full of royal jelly still with white wine.
Well, worrying it's not going to do anything for you, right? They are what they are. So
they're either alive or dead. And if they don't
correct.
hatch, then they don't hatch.
Right. So you won't know. Give them, like I said, if your temperature is a little bit lower, you probably don't have a calibrated temperature thermometer or anything in there. So if your temperature is a little bit lower, it might take an extra, 4 to 6 hours. So,
well, the only one I've got is the temperature gauge that's on top of the incubator, right?
Yeah.
So it says it's 93 degrees.
Now there's lots of things that could have happened to them after you put them in the incubator. So, I mean, it could be something as simple as, maybe you set them down a little bit hard and the larva fell out of the royal jelly down onto the bottom of the cup, in which case they would starve to death.
Well, you think the royal jelly would have like a suction on them?
Well,
like a vacuum.
There's a reason it says be extremely careful with them at that development stage.
Well,
right?
Yeah, well, the only problem is, I mean, how gentle is gentle when you're walking them from outside inside, right? You're doing the best you can, but you just don't know.
You have to be really gentle, from what I understand.
You have to be really, really gentle. Yeah.
Like any kind of bump or anything like that will knock lose that suction in that cup.
I haven't even looked at the second graft. I have no idea what they're like out there. So
that's good.
I could have one, or I could have none, or I could have 20. We don't know. You got the list. You got the list of what everybody picked.
I've got it all right here.
So I don't know. So
hey Kai, good to see you, man. I know I've been on a hiatus. I just got done with the lecture for school for biology, so yeah.
That's always fun. School.
Yeah, and biology. I mean, I should have taken marine biology instead of just regular biology, but I don't know. Either way, it's cool. I'm learning cell structures.
Well, that's always fun.
It's important. Yep.
I'm glad I got that behind me. Biology.
93 Canada or the U.S.
Yeah. Well, it's 93 U.S. It would be like 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit if it was 93.
Yeah, you don't want it there.
It would have melted them down. The wax would have melted. So what do you think about these?
I've never seen them before.
I think my Canadian buddies over there will.
So. Yeah, like I say, I've never seen them before. I make my own, so.
Well, that's pretty cool. Is that that hard corrugated plastic?
Yeah,
Coroplast. Yeah, coroplast, I think is what they're made out of.
It's called the Swarm Trooper.
Okay.
So the $50. I mean, I didn't want to take my woodenware that's painted all different colors and everything and take it out to somewhere where there's 1,000 people working, but I have no idea who they are. If I lose the last one, okay. But they're going to be monitoring it pretty much. And I'll just come back every so often and give them a call and say, I got to rebait the traps, and they'll let me in. So they bring rail cars. They still don't quite get it. When they bring rail cars of sucrose and dextrose and all these different sugars in that they're fermenting, they're like, well, we get bees around these areas. I said, well, the best thing you can do is if you spill it, spray it down, dilute it as much as you can. Otherwise, excuse me. Otherwise, I mean, they're just looking to eat there. I mean, I'm not going to be able to stop them from coming to the sugar, but I may be able to stop them from landing on Mercedes-Benz in the parking lot, or at least disturb them a little bit. So that one car had the bees back on it today. I mean, it was a smaller cluster, and I didn't see a queen in it. And it was smaller than it was yesterday. And it was larger than it was yesterday. And the guy has driven home twice, and there's still bees landing on it. So I sprayed some of my own concoction that I've been working on to,
No swarms in Texas, man. I saw your comment, Wildwood. No swarms. Not yet.
Somebody in San Antonio caught one back a minute ago.
Well, there's no nectar. All they're bringing in right now is pollen.
And so yeah, I just had a couple of things going on like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got absolutely nothing to do up here. I'm waiting for my frames to come in. So they should, rest of them should be in. Well, I think they're in here early next week, but I'm out of wax. I'm out of frames. I'm literally in limbo mode.
Well, it's been warm enough here that I've been able to throw cappings into my solar wax melter and melt them down. Melt them down.
So it's going down here to like minus 22 to 28 at night.
Wow.
And it's going up to about minus 5 or 6. No, that's degrees Celsius, but it's just crazy. It's all over the map.
It's in the teens. There's Rex. Hey, Rex.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going good. Good to see you. So we were just discussing my first graft and possible or possibly not viable cells that I have in my incubator.
Oh yeah.
And then tomorrow I've got to go and pull cells again.
So one thing you can do, if they don't hatch by say tomorrow, if you grab the cell very carefully on the bottom and just gently peel that cup up and over, if the queen is in there, you can, and she hasn't hatched out yet, you can kind of put the cell back together and put it back in the cup. So I've done that multiple times, but they should be at the point where they should be fully developed. So if you're to pull that cup off, I would say if they haven't hatched by tomorrow afternoon, don't be afraid to grab that cup, peel that cup off, and then you'll know what's going on. Be careful though, because if there's no, like the queen's not in there, you can dump the larva out, and take a look to see, and then you can start to see at what stage she was at when she stopped developing or things like that. So you can learn a lot from what's in there.
Well, I did that like these 5 queen cells. 4 of them had hatched out and 1 of them hadn't, but I held it up to the light and I could see the queen moving around in the cell backwards, like she was eating the rest of the royal jelly, but she hadn't broke out. So I very carefully pinched the end of it and released her.
Yeah, you can actually pull that cup right off the cell.
And so, I mean, she was released, but I was surprised she hadn't started to try to get herself out of there, but all the other ones that hatched were the same age. And
I've never had one turn around backwards like that. So
yeah, she was back. She was a nice looking queen too. Unfortunately, she was one of the queens that did not make it in the cage match once she got released. they did not like her, so it's all good. So we just keep the process going, and so tomorrow it's been the second round, right? So all of my brood should be hatched out that was in there. So now after I pull these cells, it's time to drop some more brood in there.
Start it over again. Yep.
Start it over again. Yep. So it's going to be it's fun. We'll see. Bees keep on keeping on in there. Rex, what you been up to?
Placing bees for ag, for different ag yards here in Texas. So.
Have you caught any swarms there in Texas yet? Where you're
I think that here I'm in the Dallas area. And I think here we're going to have our swarm season probably start on Saturday. We're supposed to hit almost 80 degrees. We've had 2 or 3 days of rain.
Oh yeah,
cool temperatures, and so they're being sequestered in their hives and being overcrowded. So I think Saturday's gonna be the day for us.
Saturday, you think they're gonna start swarming? I'm down in San Antonio. We've been having solid 80-degree days.
Oh, I bet y'all have had swarms for the last month.
I haven't seen any, man. I got swarm traps put out and boxes in my yard.
Oh wow, okay.
They're showing up here, man.
Yeah, as I hit my yards, I'm adding swarm traps to each yard. So
yeah, I got a swarm trap on my tree and then 2 empty boxes full of comb that are just ready to be drawn out and everything. So I'm just waiting. Really, it's all a waiting game down here. It's still pretty dry. I'm just now starting to see flowers pop out. The yellows and stuff are popping out. Saw a few blue bonnets going more towards San Antonio. I'm a little bit west of San Antonio in the hill country. But heading into San Antonio recently, I saw a bunch of blue bonnets popping out, some wine cup, primrose, things like that.
Swarm troopers.
Dude, that's pretty cool, man.
So this is at beetlejail.com.
okay.
So he's out of South Carolina as well. His name's Dave. I bought this from Dave.
80 degrees Fahrenheit down there, and I'm still under 4 feet of snow, and we're supposed to get more snow tonight and tomorrow.
My hometown, where I'm from in California, is getting a bunch of snow. In the Sierra Nevadas, where I'm originally from, at like resort levels, getting feet of snow this late in the year. Sierra Nevadas right now, where I live up in Mammoth, got probably like 10, 15 feet in the last week.
Really?
Crazy snow, yeah. Crazy snow.
Yeah, it was it hit like 70 today here. Not crazy heat like it was the other day, but like 70.
I think the warmest I got here today was minus 13 degrees Celsius. So
that's in the teens, right?
It's in the teens, exactly. The negative teens, but it's in the teens. I'm happy with it. It's coming.
Right in 34 at night. I know they're counting on the teens. We're down here floating in the 80s.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Jason Smith with JC's Honeybees and I drove down to Bob's friend down there where he got his boxes.
Oh, down to Mississippi?
Yeah, we went down to Moss Point, and we picked up some nukes a few weeks ago, and I was amazed that about halfway down through Louisiana, just the nectar flow that was in bloom the entire way down. It's like
yeah, that's where Lee's at right there. Lee's killing it right now. Probably.
Yeah. It was like jumping 6 weeks ahead in time,
But, right now we've got stuff flowering, but I think all it's doing is helping them build up for the real flow that's coming next month, right?
Yeah.
Just helping them get going. I mean, we got wild berries, like all the flowers in the side of the road. We had the crimson clover, like in the medians of the road. Of course, right when you start seeing that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then all of a sudden you see it merging down the one lane because the road crews are out mowing on the side of the road. We don't want to have that stuff happen. So
we still have snow plows. Mowers versus snow plows.
James, where are you at?
Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada.
Okay,
Way up north. And yeah. No.
great.
Yeah.
White North.
I'm a little bit north. Yep.
The swarm
So he's asking about the trap here. Yeah. So it holds frames and it has space in the bottom too.
How many does it hold? 6? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 6. Well, I'm gonna say 5. It holds 6. However, the way that Dave on his video said to put it together is you put those little thumb screw, the little caps that you would tighten these things on the inside. However, you put them on the outside, like I thought they should go, it would hold 6. But he said to put them on the inside, which kind of blocks that one spot right there. So,
Flip them around.
yeah, that's what I'm probably gonna do. At least on the next ones.
How many liters volume is that? Is it 30, like 39, 40 liters?
I'm gonna assume so. I didn't.
James is going to town on that popcorn, man.
It's good.
Right here,
Dude.
I thought he was crunching
Dude.
carrots or something, or celery.
Charlie's not here to do it, man. So
Dang, that sounds really good.
This headset I got, for the longest time, I didn't realize the mics are in it. So I was walking around the house, thinking, the iPad's still way back there. And then I found out that the mics and everything are all in here. It's like, whoops.
you're sitting on the toilet listening. Everybody's hearing your business.
Flush.
Bloop.
Actually, I can pull this up probably on his website and see the exact specifications.
Okay, cool, Mimi. I'm originally from Bishop.
If I don't break
I'm from Bishop.
If it's 6 frames, Bob, it'll be close to that 30 liter. So
Yeah.
if there's a couple
Space
inches or
underneath, space underneath.
exactly, it'll be
Yeah.
pretty darn close.
So
Mine are 30. I think right at 39 liters. So they're close enough. I don't think the bees are measuring as long as it looks like there's space.
Yeah.
and the funny thing is, even when you give them plenty of space, they still cluster on each other inside of there, right? Let me see.
John told me, he said that bees love to build wax, like swarms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they love to build.
Well, they're primed for it because they're not expecting to have any when they go somewhere, right? Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, before Dave McCoy sold that hill out, because before Dave McCoy sold out Mammoth, yeah, it was really cool out there. We used to get $1 lift tickets, man. $1 we paid. Then it went up to like $2. Then it went up to $3. Then once the corporations came in, they're like, nope, you don't get any more student lift tickets for $1. Once Dave McCoy sold it all out, and I think it's White Star or something came in and bought the property up, bought the lease. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Now I don't even know how much tickets are up there anymore. Probably around $180 a day, I'm guessing.
Let's see. Swarm Trooper 6 frame in stock says it's free shipping in the United States too.
Nice.
20 inches long, 14 inches tall, 9.5 wide, only 3 pounds from durable, 4 millimeter, I guess corrugated. Gray coroplast includes molded plastic grains, but it does not say what well, actually, I guess we could kind of deduce what it is, right?
I'll figure it out here. What was the
It's 20 by what?
20 by 14 by 9.5.
Hey, Rex, you had a question from Russell. Are there many hobby beaks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Are there any restrictions?
There are a lot of beekeepers here in the Dallas area. Restrictions really tend to happen if there's a problem with your bees with a neighbor. Code enforcement might get in play with, if they're bothering your neighbors and they call and you're not able to do anything about it, then
Pest control might get called.
but as far as any regulations, other than don't be a nuisance to your neighbors, no, there's not really any regulations in most cities.
Yeah, Texas is an agricultural state, so they're big on agricultural laws here and the protection of actually any kind of person engaging in agricultural activity.
43 liters.
43.59 liters.
So that's perfect.
Yep.
Well,
I do know there's a few cities that have an ordinance saying that they have to be within a certain number of feet from a property line, something like that. I am not in one of those cities, so I don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, I'm in the country. I don't pay attention to those laws either. My neighbors built their dog pen about 75 feet from my bee yard. So, I was out there working them the other day when they exploded on me, and they didn't touch the dog or the neighbor. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that.
I just did an interview this last week for a magazine that caters to the HOA crowd, and it's an international magazine, but it's produced here in Dallas, and they wanted to know all about honeybees and being a beekeeper and putting bees on people's properties for ag. And I got finished with the interview, and I said, okay, so why are you interviewing me? Because there's a hate-hate relationship between anyone in agriculture and HOAs. The two just they're not typically seen together.
Yeah. And
she said, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to have to package this, but we'll see.
It'll never happen. I guarantee it won't happen. Not with the HOA, man. There's going to be too many people. Oh, well, I have kids and this and that. And,
right.
It's like, well, dude, the bees are going to be here with or without us. What's the point?
One of my recommendations was to not mow your open areas. Let it go to wildflowers and the natural things that are going to grow. And that's not the manicured monoculture that an HOA wants to see.
Yeah. I just went to a guard meeting out here where I live, and it's a bunch of older ladies, but they have a really good idea. They have a library out here, and it's owned by the public, by the little city municipality right there. What they want to do is turn the back. I got plans for it, and they want to turn the back area of it into a plant, like a raised garden area. They want to turn it into a full kind of like own sustainable kind of property at the library because they have the space to do it. And they want to bring in like people that do bees, gardening. I mean, they want to go full bore with it, because it's their land, and they should. And that's when you talk in forms of like that. Okay, beekeeping is not only about keeping bees, but what do? They bring food to the table, right? Put the honey aside. What do? They pollinate our food, right? I mean, if we educate people about it, maybe we can get more people on board with saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we can have some sort of bee yard in a HOA. But in Texas, I mean, then you got to worry about, there's always the ifs, ands, or buts when you're doing an operation like that in an HOA.
What's an HOA, if you don't mind me asking?
Homeowners Association.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We have out where I live, we have a property owners association. Still the same bylaws and everything, but out here it's his property owner.
Where they charge you monthly to live in the house that you paid for rightfully,
and tell you that you can't put your car up on blocks in the front yard.
Yep. They tell you what you can't do at your property that you purchased, that you have to pay them every month to be a member.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over very well up here.
Yeah, same here. If somebody came here trying to tell me what to do with my yard, I'd pretty much tell them where to put it and tell them to get the hell off my property. Like, get out of my property. You guys don't belong here. I don't want you here. Yeah, HOAs are horrible. Yeah.
But you might get a nice yard of the month sign in your yard.
I need to make one for myself and put it there because I get what I call love letters from the city maybe once a year, where they have to remind me that I need to get all my bee equipment off the driveway, and it faces the alley. No one sees it but me. But still, there's probably some real estate agent trying to sell a house up the street that calls it in or something. But every year I get a love letter from the city, and I say, yes, sir, I'll clean it up. I'll have it done by your deadline.
Or your grass is too long because you let your dandelions or something grow, Yeah. Oh, your grass is too tall. You got to mow that. It's nice.
Oh, my whole front yard is xeriscaped, so there's very little of it that I have to mow, so that's not been a problem.
I told my neighbor, don't expect me to ever mow my backyard again because I keep bees. I was like, this is all flowers back here. He's all, yeah, I think it looks fine anyways when you don't mow your lawn. So I was like, all right, cool. We're good.
Michael, the last thing I heard from the FFA was they were going to be the guy was going to get the information on exactly who I needed to address the package to send. I still have it sitting over here ready to go, but waiting on them. I can't believe they're setting that many traps though.
I haven't seen any drones yet, man. Mr. Make It Worse. You
haven't seen any yet?
No, not yet, man. No, not yet.
Got to smash them bees in that box, man. You got too much space.
I might need to go take that top box off tomorrow. I don't even want to go touch.
Heck, even I will have drones in about 3 weeks.
Well, that's because you got them on the warmer. You got them heating up.
Well, see, when I went in, Bobby, the other day, they didn't even have the other side of the box drawn out in wax yet. So there's still space in there. Yeah.
How many frames of bees do you have in there? Do you know? Because I know when you took that top off, man, they were bouncing off you.
I think it was about 6 frames. 6 frames, maybe.
With them, I'd probably let them get to at least 8 before you popped another box on top of them.
That's what John said. He's going to build those up because he's like, yeah, no, dude. He was like, we need to probably break those down. He's like, let them build up really strong and then we'll break them.
Yeah, I use a 70-30 method. When you got bees on 70, 7 out of the 10 frames, got 3 frames to go, drop another one on.
Okay.
But you have the feed in between, so
right. I have a sugar shim in between, and when I opened the top box, the bees weren't even in the top box. Maybe a couple, but it's not like they were up there doing really any work.
I'm surprised you still have hard sugar on them, dry sugar. I mean, down there, I would have blasted. I would have took that off and mixed it in some syrup already.
Especially if you got 80-degree temperatures.
Yep.
Yeah, John told me to leave it on there. He's like, I just leave it on there, dude.
I've been pulling mine off because they just wound up using it to draw comb in that shim space. So
yeah, see, I light sugar water 1-to-1 or something less than 1-to-1.
Yeah,
they'll use that to draw the comb out a whole lot quicker too.
Okay.
Yeah, I do mine a lot thinner than 1-to-1. Follow Bob Benny's.
Yeah, Johnny was
1.5 to 1,
3/4 to 1, 1/2 to 1, something like that,
So,
right?
so here's a question for everybody out there. I've been humming and hawing about collecting some pollen this year. Anybody out there have a top pollen collector?
No.
Good night, Lee.
I don't.
I've got an old Sundance. Actually, I had 2 or 3 that were given to me they go underneath.
Right.
But I've not used the top one. I got an entrance collector from my friend Kamalavir, who's in India. So I stayed with him for 2 weeks.
Right.
He sent me 2 of the entrance ones, and man, they collect a lot of pollen off the mustard in India.
But yeah, I'll find one somewhere or find a picture or something. But I'll probably make up a few of those in the shop here. That might be something I do this weekend if I don't get my frames. I am going to finish off a bunch of tables this weekend, so I'm going to go pick up some more lumber and get those finished off, and I'll get Jesse's out as well there next week. So,
well, the extractor already made it to Morgan's house.
Nice.
So that he called me today. He's like, "Hey man, my package is here already." He's
perfect.
Like, finished 53 pounds. I said, "Sounds right to me." I don't know. I know my wallet's lighter, but
by about 53 pounds.
By about 53 pounds. That's right. Amir's got a front collector that he makes.
Yeah, I'm looking for that one that goes on the top. So from because I have pallets and everything, right? So I'm looking for the one that I can sit on the top of the hive and then, collect some pollen and stuff like that. And then I can, maybe mix some of that up and stuff there for my queens.
So how does that even work? You'd close the bottom and make them come through the top?
So with the top entrance, yeah, from what I understand is it goes on the top and then as they go in, they go down through they either go down or they got to go up, one of the two. And this is part of the reason I was asking. But there's a couple different sizes of mesh in there. And once they go through the first mesh, that's what gets the pollen off. The pollen will drop down into the tray. And then they walk across the other one, and the little cones are off to the side or the back so that they can get down into the hive. So,
hey guys, out. I'm
Yeah.
out. Have a good night, man. Yeah.
Hey,
I gotta
Jason just said something to you.
Yeah, no, and I'll probably end up either moving that board up or just taking it off here eventually. I'll talk to my mentor, see what he tells me to do. He tells me to leave it on, man. He's like, just leave it there. They'll move. I got vent holes cut all around it. So if they want to move up and down, I mean, I'll see what he says. Because I mean, we're all different microclimates here, man. And he's left all his trigger boards on and he's not having any issues,
He also has got these massive colonies too.
Yeah, and and he's got different queens in there too. So yeah, man. I'll keep in touch with you guys, man. I've just been busy with work and school, man. The business is starting to kick ass for the summer, so I'll probably be doing bees and working the business. So
sound like me, man. Working bees, videos.
Yeah. I just went and did a bid on a 7,000 square foot house today that I'll be doing this weekend. So
just a small house, little house,
a tiny one. Yeah. But all right, man. Y'all be good, beekeepers. Right. Stay safe, man.
Take care.
Talk to you later. So yeah, that'd be interesting to see a top pollen feeder. I want to.
Oh yes. So from Loma Vista bees, absolutely. Especially if you're raising brood in there, stuff like that. You pretty much want the pollen. If you're going to put the pollen trap on, you put it on for 1 day, take it off for 1 or 2 days. Put it on for a day, take it off for 1 or 2 days. You need to get that pollen into the hive to sustain the brood and to keep it all healthy. So absolutely.
Well, I know they were going crazy in my yard today.
Yeah. Do I have a picture of my entrance? My entrance is right across the whole bottom of the board. The pallet does stick out about, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So, and then it's just sits right on top. So,
well, he's got a 3D printer, so he's probably thinking about.
Oh, I see. There you go. Yeah, it's one thing I've never done. I've never done any of that 3D printing and stuff like that. So,
if it's your only entrance, you wouldn't want to leave it for more than 2 days. If it's a secondary entrance, not as big a deal.
Yeah, I still wouldn't leave it on there for more than a day. I've just, like I said, I've never collected it, so something I wanted to try and see what kind of pollen's coming in and see what they're bringing in, and a buddy of mine, Alan, he wants to put them on a couple of his highs there too. So
that's the thing. Well, you know what was weird? You know that Tuesday night I said I was doing that swarm. Well, I'm weird. Yeah, I know that, but you're wrong. So that swarm, the swarm that was up in the tree that I shook down and got stung on. Mm-hmm. The next day he called me there. He's like, they're all on my porch, but they were just flying, right? There was bees flying, but they were in a spot on the ground.
So, hey, Ian, I see you're on there. I don't know. I was thinking about mixing pollen patties with my own pollen into patties for my queens is what I was thinking of doing. So I am using the global patties. I don't have any with the Apis biologics in it, but when I was down there, I picked up my order of pollen patties. They were actually, the day I picked my patties up is the day that they received their Apis product. So I am going back down there next weekend, and I did give them a call to see if they have some of the global patties with the Apis in it. But I really do want to try and mix my own. I want to collect my own pollen from this area. I want to try and mix my own patties for my queens, or at least in that starter finisher. I want to see how that does. I just
for the first time ever, I sold out of my Apis for the activator, the bioactivator for the pollen sub.
Got her.
So I've got some more coming in, but it's not here yet.
I'm a bit of a, what do you want to call it? I'm a bit of a data geek. So I was watching Ian's interview there with the gentleman from Apis, and very, very interesting, actually. Very smart individual. So it's nice to see somebody like that doing that much research and that much background, and working with actual beekeepers to make a better product for us. That was awesome.
And I actually have one. I only ordered one just in case somebody wants it. Of the activators that'll do 600 pounds of pollen sub. So
there you go. Well, I'm not there yet, but in time.
Well, you just bought how many pounds of pollen patties?
What did I buy? 40. I think it was 40 boxes.
40 boxes of 40 pounds, right?
40 boxes of 40 pounds. Yeah.
I mean, that's 480 pounds of pollen sub.
Yep.
So you're getting there.
I'm not the only one that wasn't just my order. So I did pick up some orders from somebody else. Now, what I do is as soon as my plan is as soon as I get the bees out, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, is I'll drop a couple pounds of pollen patty on them, as quick as I can and get them going. Drop a feeder pail on them too, and get them fired up.
I'll be ready to watch y'all's videos up there when you guys start pulling them out and smacking the pollen on them, because if I did that, if I put 2 pounds of pollen on every one of my colonies in the spring, I'd wipe out every colony. I'd
really
kill every one of them. Yep.
How come?
The hive beetles would overwhelm
the
colony.
Yeah, we don't have those, so we're fortunate with that one.
So what I went to doing this year is I'm mixing my pollen and apis in a 5-gallon pail, right? And then I just go and scoop a little bit on there, and I have to put it on more frequently, but give them a little bit less at a time,
Yep.
But seems to be working. I haven't seen any beetles in. Hey, and Ian, I used your recipe with the coconut oil and the flaxseed oil, and of course the apis, and just trying to follow y'all's greatness.
There you go.
Oh, and by the way, you sent out a link to Brad the other night on Tuesday night, and as soon as you dipped out, he popped in. It was like you just missed each other.
There you go. No, we're actually I'm going to be going over to see Brad again. So, I think Brad's on there now. So,
Brad's in the chat.
as everybody knows, I also competition handgun shoot. So the nationals here in Canada are in Selkirk, Manitoba this year. So I have qualified for that. So I will be heading over to Selkirk, Manitoba for a week of fun. And of course, I'm not going to go that far without stopping in and seeing the guys.
I've got a ton of the control still, and I've got more coming. I'm placed an order, and it's probably hung up at the border. It's supposed to be here, I think, next Tuesday, the rest of it. But I do have, he heard the popcorn rattling around your bowl there.
There he is.
Hey, Charlie.
Actually, I guess everybody could hear it crunching it through the through my mic in my headset. So I keep forgetting the mic is up here.
So it's interesting. So I've become the official beekeeper for the Canadian brewery here. So Mark Anthony Brewing Company, they're out of Canada somewhere. I don't know where they're out of, but they definitely are flying the Canadian flag. So I guess technically now I have Canadian bees, right? They were on a Canadian property.
Well, are you going to supply them honey for any of their mixes?
No, they should supply me with about $200 for these swarm traps that I bought to put out there.
Everybody.
Evening, Charlie.
Yeah, I just got my mic on here. I was just Dennis and Brian and Brad.
But what you been up to, Charles?
Oh, not much. I went out this evening and put some more sugar bricks or whatever you want to call them onto some of my nukes. It's supposed to be crappy weather for the next 7 to 10 days here.
Trade you.
Huh?
I'll trade you.
Yeah, we're actually supposed to get some a little bit of snow tomorrow, rain, And of course, it's no big coldness to you, but it's 45 degrees during the day.
Well, I keep watching the forecast 2 weeks out, so I keep and there was what the heck was the I can't remember. There was a skit on, anyways, when I was younger. Of course, on the TV there, but they always used to jug or joke around that 2 weeks out it's going to be +1, and of course that +1's always 2 weeks out. You never get to it. But
so if it's 45 degrees, would that be 5 Celsius?
Lee's gone, so I'd have to punch it back in here to tell you.
So Mark Anthony Brewing Company is owned by Anthony Von Mandel out of Vancouver.
Oh, there you go. They're just to the west of me then.
He owns the he owns wineries in Canada's Okanagan Valley, I guess. Okanagan Valley.
So 45 degrees Celsius is 7.2, or 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 7.2 degrees Celsius.
7.
So it's
which is a heat wave for you, right?
That's not 2 weeks, actually. 2 weeks from now, it's supposed to be above zero every single day. So as long as it keeps going that way, I actually might get them out by April 1st, which would be the goal.
Hey, Grayson. Yeah, I don't know. It's I guess we've gotten spoiled where Sunday was like, I don't know, 60, 62 degrees, which is like really like a heat wave. And
Ian's laughing at you.
It's always 2 weeks out. It's going to be +1, and it never comes. Yeah.
And you get used to that, and that's like, oh yeah, this is great, and then you had a couple other days prior to that, and now it's going to be, the top numbers 40, 45 degrees, and then it'll get down in the 30s at night. So
yeah, well, like I say, right now we're hitting -22 to -28 at night, and it's coming up to -10, -12 type thing during the day. So we're getting the big fluctuations now, so it's coming.
That's like around what, 10 degrees Fahrenheit?
Well, it was 82 here yesterday during the day, and 48 overnight. So
that's
a heck of a swing.
So can you imagine what I'm doing here right now? Okay, wait.
I'm number one. Is that what you're saying? So
keeping it family rated.
Let me see. Next Tuesday, Michael says it's supposed to be 32 here. He's only an hour or so east of me, so let's see what it's saying.
So where does Mimi live at? Out in California? Oliveras, that's out in California, isn't it? Or is that over there?
Yeah, but they also do Big Island honeybees, which is out of Hawaii. So they get look at Ian, Bob. That's real tough.
What is the temperature over there for Ian and Brad right now? They're probably sitting about the same thing as what I'm at. Usually, it's interesting because in the summertime, and in the winter, the general flow up here is kind of from the west coast or go west to east. So usually, whatever hits me hits them about a day and a half, 2 days after. So
I'm supposed to have rain tomorrow and rain Sunday. And
we're supposed to be getting that stuff too. Same storm.
So Monday is supposed to be 67 and 38.
Oh, -8. That's pretty nice over there right now.
-8C now.
Brad's out there with his Crocs and short pants on, wife beater, working his bees.
-16 here. But you can see it's just all over the map, eh?
Right.
Yeah. And
+4. It's not +1 anymore. It's +4. Oh, I can't wait.
Break out the tank top.
Yeah. Oh, man.
They're saying it'll only be freezing on Tuesday.
Oh, a clipper coming.
Let's see, 0 Celsius. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
32 degrees, yeah.
Rex, I've never met you.
No,
I don't believe we have met. I've seen you on some of the live streams, but I'm down in the Dallas area.
Okay. Well, I'll just say hey, and
Hey.
good to see you. Always
the
great to meet a new face.
let's see. Oh, I got Curtis's package out.
Oh,
today.
good.
So
Good.
luckily what he ordered fit in a small flat rate box, and it's still
Nice.
$26 to ship to Canada.
That's $20. That's $26 US. So that's like $100 Canadian.
So it's like when you order like a small item and got to ship it, the amount of shipping drives that cost up, right? So it's like selling it. Can you even sell it at the appropriate price to be able to make a profit anymore after that? I mean, yeah, I mean, you can with what he's getting, but it's like not as profitable doing it that, you know, if Dancing Bee would have ordered it like they were supposed to, then then he would have got it directly from Dancing Bee and been able to do it. But it's all good. Still got it.
I think he bought his swarm lure
He bought my swarm lure from them.
Got it.
It's coming in. But they didn't get, you know, the whole reason that vial even came around was because they said they didn't like to freeze the ones they were getting from Man Lake.
Correct.
So that's why that was even designed. And then they didn't even get any this year because they're like, oh, we still got a bunch of the ones that we got from Man Lake. So,
yeah.
But, you know, eventually.
Next year.
So, the Charlie, I don't know if my 2 grafted queens are going to make it, but we'll know soon because they were supposed to hatch today and they did not hatch as of earlier. And
you haven't looked in your other
nope, haven't even been in it. Other
That's
than
very good.
Off and fill it.
Yay!
Exactly. So I still got a couple squares open if anybody wants to buy a square.
To see how many we got. I'll be surprised. Really, it's going to be interesting to see how many I got. I think it'll be more than 2. Can't be worse, right? Well, it could be worse. I mean,
Sure it can.
Yeah,
but the fact is you're doing it. You're trying. You're going to learn something every time, right? Absolutely going to learn something every time. And if these ones aren't viable, when you pull them apart, you'll see why, and you're going to learn as to why those ones weren't viable, and if they failed, and then you're going to learn something from that too. So
like I said, the only thing that gets me is that when I held them up to the light earlier, that this was very clearly white, full of royal jelly in the cup.
Yeah. I think
by this time, if they were going to hatch out, I figured that would be a little bit emptier, you know. But
yeah, very, very well so.
So we'll see. It's a trial and error for me right now, but it's working.
Yeah, well, usually for me, like by the time they get ready to hatch, the cup is a lot less royal jelly, but I do find that if you hatch them in the incubator and you take that cocoon off and look down in there, that little divot in the bottom of that thing is kind of a little well in there. I find that still, there's a little well in there that usually there's a little, like about the size of a razor head of jelly left in there, which,
these are the ones that I bought, the 5 that I bought from the queen breeder last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much cleaned those out. They were dry. And that's the only thing I had to reference to, right? So I was like, well, those are empty. Mine still have stuff in them. So,
but like I said, it's not even if you don't have any hatch out, it's not a failure, Bob. There's no such thing as a failure. You either succeed or you learn. There's no failure. So, well,
the only thing is that it's not a failure technically. Well, technically it is a failure because my apiary is not growing by my queens and I don't have any to.
Sure, you have. You've got a couple splits that you've done. You were 25% up before you caught your swarm. You're growing. You know, You're achieving your goals. That's the important part.
So with those swarms, I'll say 75% of me wants to let them grow out that swarm box and then close them up. And there's the nuke, one of my nukes that I have
Possibly.
accounted for. So, but it's been interesting. I'm enjoying it. See, I had to not go in it this week to stop James's wrath through messaging.
All right, so the two cells to have lots of jelly, but no, they haven't hatched, right?
They haven't hatched. They were by the spreadsheet. They're supposed to hatch today. Now I had the incubator at 93. So,
like you said,
and you did have you've been checking.
Now the guy said, "Oh, we keep our incubator at 94,"
and so that's what I said. It will make a difference.
Took 2 days or a day and a half extra.
Now you are keeping the moisture in there, right? Right. You got
the moisture was between 60 and 70% when the other ones hatched out.
Perfect.
So
yeah, I know, but are you checking the water levels as well?
Yeah, I added water to it yesterday, actually, to make sure.
Because I can't remember what Hardiman's told me. I said, "What about the moisture?" And he said, "What is it? If you don't, depending on the humidity levels, depends on how fast they hatch." And I think that their humidity levels are low on the lesser side. I don't know if it was on the no, that was on the less side. They wanted their cells to hatch out faster.
Yeah, but if you're 93 degrees, I've seen that myself. If your temperature is a degree, cooler, and once again, Bob's thermostat says it's at 93 degrees, but is it at 93 or is it at 92? Right? Is it at 94? It's
and then
it's
when
not
you
a calibrated one.
Off it, the temperature changes for whatever duration you got the top off to add
Right.
water in.
So I have seen mine, and I don't know if anybody in the chat can say it, but I have seen mine. If mine get a little cool, they do take an extra few hours or an extra day to hatch out.
Brad says the same thing.
I've seen that. So,
and I don't mind that, but tomorrow I'm scheduled to pull whatever I've got on that frame and
Perfect.
put it in the incubator.
Perfect.
And, so they'll just be one big happy family.
I've got that there Inkbird thermostat thing, and I got it set at 93, but plus or minus a degree.
Oh yes, those Inkbird ones. See, Brad's not on here. I can say, oh, he loves those Inkbird controllers.
You don't.
It's home.
I'm gonna poke the Brad and see if we can get him on here.
But, hey, I need to give props to Brad and you for that matter. Marking the queens, the virgin queens, that's on point, because when you got that roller and you take that cell off of there, she's not in any hurry to go anywhere. So you just take that off and she'll walk right up out of the top, and you just grab her, hit her with the dot,
and away you go.
She'll go right back in, and no problems. I thought for sure I was going to have queens running all over my desk and everything, but no.
Yeah, Brad doesn't like those Inkbird controllers.
Why do you have a problem with them?
Yeah, I think he's had a couple that have failed. So he actually's got some nice. I think he uses. I think it's Honeywell he uses. He's got some really nice controllers.
Yeah.
I just knew he didn't like them. That's why I had to harass him a little bit.
I go through about 2 Inkbirds a year, and the internal relays wind up sticking. The contacts in them wind up sticking.
I think that happened to my mentor with these last queen cells we got, because the first set started hatching out, and then he said he went out there and all of a sudden it was like the incubator was dead. And he uses a refrigerator like Charlie does there, so I don't know what controllers he's using.
See you, Brian.
Hey, I hated marking queens. I mean, marking the queen was not the problem. It was just I didn't see the need in it until this year.
Here was the issue.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. Bob, how old's your queen? I don't know.
Well, the nuke I got her in was this year, so she should be this year. Wrong answer. I don't understand why this nuke is exploding that I got last year, but this nuke that I got last year is not doing as well, and everything's been the same. Oh,
it's not doing. Yeah, it wasn't doing anything. It was going downhill.
Yeah. So, yep. So now that's just, if anything, when James says, Bob, how old's your queen? Well, it's got a red dot on it, so it must be this year.
2023.
Yep. So
You get those pins in yet, Bob?
I did. They're shipped. They finally shipped. They are scheduled to be here. Let me just do the tracking for you. By Monday at 7 p.m. So they are en route from California.
Steve wants to know whether marking a virgin increases the getting ate by a bird or whatever.
No.
No, Richard Knoll over there in Brittany, France marks them. Brad marks them. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues.
I mean, but
To me,
can you really
it's all
tell?
about
You're going to have
time
a percentage that doesn't come back either way. So
right. To me, it's a time saver. I mean, it's
you don't have to
easeability.
pick through bees to find her.
Right. It's easeability of marking her while she's just by herself. And then it's the
Plenty
same
of time
reason.
to dry in her cage before you carry her out to the yard.
Yeah,
And
like
then-
Brad is saying, he's had no issues at all.
No issue. That's what he says. And then when you put her, putting a virgin into into the mating box, you don't have to. Your tinkeritis doesn't come into the fail. Oh, did she hatch or whatever? You put her in there. It's come back in 2 weeks and see what she's laying.
What did you call it? Your thinkeritis?
Tinkeritis. You're tinkering.
That's what Bob's got. He's got a case. He has a big case of tinkeritis. I like that. I'm going to use that one.
But I have not been out. Well, hey, if anything, I haven't been in the mating box or the starter finisher. So, hey, that's a win.
That's a win.
Thinkeritis. There you go. Ian's laughing at that one too.
I like that one. Yeah.
So y'all brought up an interesting comment earlier about predators on our queens coming in, because they're the big, slow bee flying around. And so what are some of the predators that y'all deal with? I know here, depending on where the yard is, dragonflies are the bane.
Yeah.
They will just come in right at the same height to do their hunting.
Dragonflies, and then the purple martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have any purple martins around here. Our dragonflies we usually get them, I'm going to say, a little bit later in the season up here, at least where I'm at anyways. I'm not around any big lake or anything like that. So I don't have to worry too much about it. So
I didn't have many dragonflies till I started keeping bees out in the yard either.
I don't see any dragonflies around here. I do have a pond, but I think it's more like a, what do you call them? A purple martin or barn swallows, as we call them. Whatever.
Yeah. Rex, did you see?
Yes, Ian, I am in Africanized honeybee territory. Yes.
Do you really see a lot of that? What would you call it? Where it affects you quite a bit?
I do bee removals from structures and as another income stream. And I would say I probably hit 4 or 5 a year here in the Dallas area that I would truly call Africanized. I won't tell that to the customer. To them, I'm still doing a live removal, but I don't want those genetics, mating with anything else. So they may or may not make it back to a bee yard. I usually try to give them a chance though and see how they do. You know, if they wind up being mite resistant or mite tolerant, so that they can pull out affected larvae. I want to test before I give them the axe.
Well, with a Africanized bees, I presume the characteristics of that is that they just come in and attack you, or what?
Well, that's one way that it can express, those genetics can express. It's not always in defensive behavior. Sometimes it's in swarming more often. If there's just the slightest thing can make them want to just up and leave. So they'll swarm or they'll abscond on the turn of a dime.
Yeah, I've heard Africanized bees like they don't like the cold weather, so they fly south if there happens to be something in northern America, United States area.
They tend to be worse in the more arid parts of Texas. I know East Texas, where it's a lot more humid, it's not nearly a problem. You would think JP down in New Orleans would have a lot of Africanized bees, but he doesn't. You know, he does a lot of his bee removals with no suit at all. I can't do that. No way.
Ian asked, "Are you simply requeening to purge those Africanized honeybee traits?"
Sometimes I requeen. If it's truly bad behavior and a neighbor, neighbors 3 houses down can't come in and out of their house without being tagged by the bees, that entire colony is probably not going to make it back to anywhere to be put anywhere.
They might get soap watered.
They might, or they might just sit in a hot box for a day.
I saw a video of somebody doing a removal out of a structure in Texas, and it was Africanized bees, and they just came pouring out. Like it was like the whole colony came out after them.
Yeah,
they
walked the side of the house.
Half on video, and they were still beating on their suits and everything.
Yeah.
So
now I did have one experience with that. My cousin, I got her a queen from down south and requeened the hive. And I went out there, and usually I don't light a smoker that all. I mean, I might light it, but they don't really need, most time the bees are pretty friendly. And that hive went berserk. And she was coming out of the garage where she was suited up. I said, get back in there. And it got to the point where she had chickens in a chicken tractor cage thing. And we had to get the chickens and get the bees off the chickens because they were stinging them to death. Mm-hmm. And she lost 4 or 5 chickens because of that. They stung around their eyes and stuff. And it was bad. We killed that hive. It was really bad.
See, Brad had to come on to tell us how good those Inkbird controllers were.
Well, I don't want to derail things. No, man, a lot of people use those. I had a bad experience, and that's about it.
I use them. I still have some here. In fact, I just put one into my. I just put one into my queen.
Rating on the contacts. I think Rex, you were talking about that, right? The rating on the relay in theirs only lasts so long or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're rated at 10 amps, and if you push the amperage on with whatever you use in the heat, I've used my Inkbird for my warmer box for my honey, and I've got 2 heat lamps inside that box, and it's pushing the 10 amp rating, and it affects the duty cycle. So you're not going to get the life out of it that you normally would if you've got a low amperage rating.
The problem I had, I don't think I was pushing the amperage too much, but they wouldn't shut off. They would cycle normally, and then after I'd use it for a few days or a week, and then it wouldn't shut off. And it was a honey warming cabinet, so I spoiled a whack of honey because it overheated. And then I complained, and they replaced it. No change. The replacement was just as bad, so I gave up on them. So I just use a higher end, obviously more expensive Johnson controls.
Johnson. I couldn't.
Very common. controller. So it's just, they're like $150 and they don't come wired with all the plugs and everything. You have to wire it in. So that's not an issue for me. So it wasn't a problem, and it works perfectly that way.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Johnson or Honeywell. So,
but I didn't want to derail things by coming in. No, we're talking about queens and virgins, so I thought I'd jump in.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to mark them. I'd mark them right here at my desk, no problem. They went right back in the cage, no worries. So
yeah,
I liked it.
A friend down here showed me that. He sent me a little video on how he does it. It's perfect. It's so easy, and it's so helpful to have your queen already marked when she comes back from mating.
Some of mine had they were still had a little bit of hair on their back, so
yeah,
I mean they were just hatched, so it was like, here's a dot for you and a dot.
That's what you look for in a good girl, man. Lots of hair on her back. Makes a good mother.
Yeah.
I think Charlie was speechless. I don't think I've ever seen Charlie speechless.
No, I'm just thinking back about a few years back when I was at a festival.
Thinking back to somebody you used to date.
No. But we used to go up to New Jersey there, close to Philadelphia, and them Philadelphian girls, they didn't shave too often.
We'll talk about yeah. Oh boy, derailed. All right,
right there, just jump ship right there.
This is degrading really fast. Sorry, guys.
Oh man. That's priceless.
They were. Let's just say they were real woodsy.
Ian, I'm onto your project tomorrow. I got off on your project. I got off on a different project, so I'm back on your project tomorrow, Ian. So I'll just tell you that. You'll be happy
do you
to hear
mix
that.
the new queen with a mist of anything, sugar water or vanilla, anything?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing.
No.
My little queenless nuke. I'll have a frame or two. Not a super strong thing. Queenless for a day or more. And we've got a loud open mic here. Holy smokes. What is that?
Who's that?
Hey, it's Rex.
James.
I don't know.
It got quiet when one of
James.
Rex.
James.
But no, it just my little nuke. I use just a 4 deep frames in a little nuke that I make. And it's not super strong, but it's good and viable. Queenless for at least 24 hours. Make sure you knock down all the rogue emergency cells and whatnot. And I just dump them on the top bars and they walk in. I've had spectacular success with that.
I had a 3/4 hole that I just turned a mason jar over the top of it in the top of my mating nuke where they can get up to the jar. I just pulled the jar off and let her walk right down the hole and put the jar back on top. Good to go.
I noticed a little behavior when I do that. I've never heard anybody talk about it, but it's pretty consistent, and it's really neat to watch. You've got this queenless nuke, and the one thing you'd imagine that they want is a queen. So when I go in there, I have my incubators in the house, so I'll get my queens, mark them, put them in the JZBZ cages just to get them to the apiary, which is a couple 100 yards out. And so I'll go out there with a pocket full of queens, and I'll just take the JZBZ cage, pop it open, and get her to walk out on the top bar. And I'll watch her, and she doesn't know what to do, and she just kind of walks out on the top bar, and one of the workers will come up, and they just touch her, but they don't touch her and then start antenating and whatnot. They just watch up and they just touch her with their tongue or something, and then they immediately turn around and they share that with somebody else, as if to say, look what I found, and then they go and share it with somebody else, and again, and this happens again and again with the different bees. They'll go up to the queen and they'll just touch her, and then they'll immediately turn around and go find another worker and say, hey, look what I found. And so that pheromone or whatever they're getting just spreads throughout that hive in just moments. It's really kind of cool to watch, I think.
Now, Brad, is it their tongue or do they use, like, say, their antennae?
I think it's their tongue.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe
My
that's
eyes are
that
that good.
queen
But
mandibular pheromone.
That's quite interesting.
yeah,
But you wouldn't think it would be
for
very
a
strong.
virgin may not be very strong, but there's something there because I've seen it so many times that they'll just the first bee, the queen will be sitting there on the top bar, not really knowing what to do, and then a bee walks up, and they just touch her and immediately turn around and go find somebody else, and then touch them with their tongue or something.
Spreading the word.
Yeah, spreading the word. Look what I found, and then everybody gets the word. Hey, there's a queen here.
And
that's like I shook off a virgin. It was running around in one hive. It was a daughter. It was the queen and a daughter in the same nuke. And the other hive I knew was queenless. And I picked that frame up and found that virgin running around again. And then she, of course, walked off. I got her to the point where the other hive, and she just walked off down in that other hive. And the bees on top of those frames within 3 seconds, maybe. Man, they jacked their butts up, put the fans up. Hey, queen's here. Queen's here.
Queen's here. Yeah.
No, they were fanning away. We got a queen. They know it almost instantaneously.
Yeah, Michael Buck, was asking if you missed the queen or whatever. And I've seen a lot of things online and whatnot, but you should just try it. Try it a time or two. Make sure that's a queenless nuke. Make sure it's queenless for a couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't miss nothing. I just let her walk in and she was done. That was it.
Yeah.
Two weeks later, she had a frame laid up.
Like I see all these videos and different things, and I think if we get in a habit of, I have to do this, and this, then we'll always do that. Just try it. What do you got to lose? You got to lose a virgin. Just try it. You might see, wow, and this really works. Maybe it won't work for you. Maybe there's something different about my yard or whatever, but just try it. It might work. And if it works, it sure makes your life easy if it works.
Yeah. What do you do, Brad, after you introduce that virgin in there?
Leave them alone.
How long
for a couple weeks?
Got her. Yeah.
Yeah, leave it alone for 2 weeks. Come back.
Literally, just leave that alone for a good 10 days. Good 10 days.
I wish my finger could go across and poke Bob in the head here. Stay out of the hive.
Yeah, no, leave it alone.
It's always the opposite direction.
You don't want to bump it and bang it. You don't want to open it. You don't want to do nothing. Just leave it alone.
What is it, Brad? You open them up like that, it's either pheromones or something changes in there. Sometimes a baller.
All right, so let's say you got a 2-frame nuke, and you go out there and you introduce a virgin.
Yeah, I've done that.
Wait 2 weeks, and they ball her the first day, and you've killed all the cells. Then what? I mean, so you're waiting 2 weeks. You don't know. I mean, they're not. You don't know to put another queen cell in there or nothing. So I mean, what do you do?
Well,
at that point?
I think my timing is about 10 days. I'd have to check my calendar. I've got it all kind of figured out here.
The first thing is you take a queen out of an incubator.
Wheel here.
Take the queen out of the incubator. You put her in a 2-framer. All right, the first 4 to 5 days, her exoskeleton has to harden. Her wings have to dry. Her sexual organs have to mature to get mated and all that. So she's not even going to go out of the hive for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then she goes out and flies.
I think that's
what
my calendar says. I can check in 10 days.
What does that sheet say, Bob?
You can wait 2 weeks.
What does my sheet say?
Oops, hold on, wrong sheet. Here we go. It says if the queen emerges on the 9th, that leave undisturbed for 12 days.
Yeah.
12 days. And that's after the mating flight. So basically you're looking at, 9th to the 15th. That's 6 days, right? 6 days plus 12, 18 days.
Yeah, you'll have eggs in 18 days, right?
Right.
If everything goes well.
Well, it says after mating flights leave undisturbed for 12 days, and then it says check nukes for eggs 12, after the 12 days. So,
Yeah.
So the question there is, how quick do you need to introduce virgins? I can't say. That video that Corey was talking about, the Stevens method that he's coined. He was talking about banking them quite a while. Probably the longest period that my virgins go in a cage is overnight, because we'll know what day they emerge, and they usually emerge over 2 days. And so if a virgin emerges in the evening, she'll sit in that cage in the incubator until morning, and then she'll get marked caged and walk to the apiary.
But in the
So
meantime,
mine
you're
don't sit
you're
very
also
long.
gonna feed her too. You're gonna feed
Yeah,
her
I've got a
some.
little dot of crystallized honey in the bottom of that
Right.
hair roller, exactly like that,
like
Bob.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly like
I
that.
got a little
Yeah, just
little bear
a
that's
tiny little bit.
crystallized there, and I just take that and kind of smear it on the side.
Yeah.
A little bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful the queen doesn't get it on her, because that can really cause havoc. So I would say at the outside, 12 hours, and normally not that long for me. I'm not saying you have to do it that quickly, but that's what I do, and so I don't have any experience with leaving them a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's all the process. I think if I've learned anything, it's the process, right? You start with what you want and work backwards, right? So, like with the queen mating, James very clearly told me in no short form, he said, well, once you graft and you see how many cells you got, then you know how many nukes you need to set up. So there's no need to split the nukes until you know how many queens you're going to have to put in the nukes, right? So you're kind of working from what you've got, and you're able to plan out what you need, type of deal. And so that's been really helpful. That's something that I've definitely learned this year, is to have a plan, right? And then figure out what the plan is. See, Jay's is laughing because we talked till he's about to throw up.
Is that instead of amassing the most impressive collection of bee gadgets before?
Hey, I got a new bee gadget.
You know
he's got new.
what
He's got
what
newest.
you want to achieve.
New bee gadget.
Oh, I'm so surprised that Bob's got a new bee gadget today.
Hey, we got to have content. So this is a swarm trooper swarm trap. So I caught those swarms at the Canadian company that we were talking about the other night. And
that Canadian company.
Yeah, the Canadian company. That's like 5 miles from me. And so they said, hey, why don't you put out some traps out here to keep them off of our vehicles? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. So now I'm their official beekeeper. I guess they've called me every day since I've caught the first one, because bees keep landing on that Mercedes van. And I got the rest of those off today. It was just a small cluster, but the traps came in today. So I started putting them together to go hang on their fence line. So it's been quite interesting. I've caught 2 swarms. I caught 2 swarms in one day, basically, and then kind of slowed down because the weather turned cold a little bit. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Hey, folks, I'm going to go ahead and bow out for the evening. It's getting late, and I still need to make my dinner. So, y'all have
a good night, Rex. Nice to meet you.
And again.
Right.
Yep. Trying to think, did I get any other bee gadgets? Nope.
I got a gadget, but it don't work so well. You see this thing? Well,
the green screen.
Here's a story. Yeah. I decided I'm going to buy one of these green screens, and before I got the green screen, I had mostly a white wall behind me, and it worked pretty good on StreamYard. I had a picture behind me, but on Zoom it wouldn't work. I couldn't get the picture to work.
Really?
So I thought, well, I'll buy a green screen. So I put the green screen up, and on
Now
Zoom,
it works on Zoom and not on
the picture
StreamYard.
works really good. And StreamYard, it don't work at all. So I can't win.
It flipped everything around the other way.
So you get to watch a green screen now instead of a picture of a bee yard with snow.
Well, now, Brad, did you go into settings and hit virtual background?
Oh yeah, I've messed
And
with
then
that.
right underneath your picture, it says, I have a green screen. You have a check mark at.
That's right.
Check-
Yeah, I've
check
been doing
box.
that.
Huh?
I've been doing that. Ain't working.
See, I don't even have those options with my iPad.
Really?
You have to join the 21st century, James.
I don't. I've been
Get out of the bondage of the Apple cult.
My kids were all wanting iPhones and everything, and it used to make me so mad because they would say, "Oh, the new iPhone's out," and I'm like, "It looks just like the last iPhone, and just like the iPhone before that." Matter of fact, it looks like the iPod that came out. They all look the same. I'm like, why are you paying more money?
It's the new iPhone because they said it's the new. Oh, look, it's a new iPhone. We're just gonna jack the price again. That's the same iPhone.
At least they have.
Let's go buy the new iPhone.
They've gotten some bigger screens and stuff now. I still don't have it. I got Samsung.
Sorry, James.
Oh, that's all right. I can bring it on.
The one thing I'm sure there's things on Android that'll do it too. But the one thing, I had a work phone that was a iPhone one time. The thing I did like about it is I also had a Mac computer that we were working on, right? So everything that was sent to my iPhone was also on my computer. So it just synced automatically. So that's what
my iPad, my iPhone, it all does the exact same thing. Wife and daughter have it as well, so it's easy to send things back and forth.
Pretty much how mine work, but that's the lock. That's the lock that they get you. It's the lock. Look, you can't step outside the eye circle because your life will be broken after that.
What do you do?
I just have to bug Apple people. That's all. It's been a hobby for about 40 years now.
That's funny. The what are they talking about? Model paint for marking
bees, I guess.
Yeah, my mentor uses that acrylic, just the acrylic paint in the tube or in the little jar you buy at Walmart. He just basically takes his finger and on the top, and just touches the queen on the back, or he doesn't use anything.
That's fine if you're sitting there marking bees all day, like Michael Palmer does or something. But when you're doing it Bob Binney style, it's like we see them, we mark them. You pull the pen out of your pocket. You can't be fumbling with a jar of paint or something. It has to be something a little more convenient to use. I wish I was good at marking queens as Bob is. You just pick them up and look, they're marked.
Done.
Not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for my new pins to come in. So I'm still using.
I like those new pens. So
competitive advantage, man.
I've got 50 beekeeper sets coming in for my website, so about 50 packs of them. Or I don't know if they're going to be 50. It might just be 50 of each color. But they said it was a beekeeper assortment, so hopefully they're in a pack. Otherwise, I might have to make them in a pack.
You'll need 50 rubber bands,
right? And I've got a bunch of those mailers, so we should be good when it happens. So
Yeah, like I say, you won't be disappointed with those. I quite like those pens.
So how these have like a round tip on it, those are more of a pointed tip on them, right?
Nope,
little
nope,
more
they're a bit of
pointed.
a yeah, but they're not as big,
They're
right?
not pointed, but they're not as thick as that one. They're a little more slender. I
Yeah.
think they're a little bit longer. The nib is a
I
little
think
bit
so.
longer too. But
Does the paint last better?
It's almost like a rubberized paint. It you know. So I find it lasts
yeah,
better.
Bim says it stays on the Queen, the Posca paint.
Well,
Not
as soon
so
as you,
much.
Bob, you get them, let me know.
All right. Well, they're supposed to be here Monday, and then I'll get them added to the website. And then my Apis order is supposed to be here on Tuesday, which for the first time ever, I've sold out of one of their products, which is the one that was the slowest one. So maybe I just
What was that control? The
activator
pollen?
to go with the pollen sub, right? So I would have still had it, but a guy ordered a pretty big order to carry with him to the North Carolina Beekeepers Association meeting this weekend. So he's got an assortment of Apis and Swarm Lure up there, which I found out is only an hour and 45 minutes from me. So who knows? There might be a guest appearance on Saturday if you're up there at the North Carolina State Beekeepers Association in Monroe, North Carolina. I think who's going to be speaking there? Cayman's going to be there, I think. And
Well, I'm going south next weekend, but I'm not going that far south.
not going. You'd burn up. You'd like literally burst into flames and turn into dust right here in South Carolina.
I'm not a vampire.
Well, I mean, you see, I've got a suntan on my forehead already, and it's March 9th. So.
Yeah, not much up here. I'm still wearing sunglasses so I don't get snow blind.
Yeah, I hear you. I went to my bee barn yesterday. It took me about 5 minutes. I could see anything.
Just white right out, right?
You guys would be glad when those 3 months come that you don't have any snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
people ask me what we do in Winnipeg in the summer, and I say, well, if it falls on a Sunday, we go for a picnic.
Yeah, exactly. Both, and Saturday maybe you can get out for both days of the the summer.
Yeah,
both days.
Right. It's pretty sad.
So you've got winter, and then you've got second winter, and then you've got near winter, and then
winter,
first winter,
late winter, still winter, still damn winter, almost spring but still winter.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in Ian's case, you get flood season, and then winter.
Yeah, and then you go from winter to flood.
Oh, I hope you guys don't have that again this year, man. That was nasty last year.
Back to pre-winter and early winter, and then winter, and then holy crap, it's a cold winter. Freeze your
blizzards. Yeah, exactly.
Blizzards.
And 10 feet of snow winter.
That is I mean, when I was young, I lived in the Midwest, and it seemed like it was colder then than it is today. I mean, I remember having 4 foot of snow, and up there, they're used to it. They've got the stuff to, spread the salt and all that stuff. We don't have that down here. If they say it's going to freeze tomorrow, every school will close down. That's true. That is true. They have one truck for the state of South Carolina, and it spreads sand, right? It's a sand spreader. So we can't deal with it at all down here.
Do you want to hear what the threshold is here as far as schools go? If like there's a temperature threshold, and it'll go either temperature or wind chill, where they don't want the kids out waiting for the school bus, so they'll cancel all school buses, and that temperature is minus 40 degrees Celsius. So if it's minus 40, they're not going to run the school buses because they don't want the kids standing out there waiting for the school bus at minus 40.
And then the kids think it's a
Yeah,
great day because it's a snow day and they're outside making snow forts. And
But
it's too
that's
cold to go
the
to school, but it's
threshold.
not too cold to ride the snow machines, right? And
That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Get the snowmobile out. You ride all day. But you're saying that 0, all the schools are closed. It's like -40. They cancel the bus because they don't want you waiting outside.
we wouldn't have any school up here from about, I don't know, what,
like
middle of September
early
till about
October.
May.
Yeah.
and then they'd have to go 24 hours a day to catch up.
Yeah.
Brutal.
But
It's just I just laugh sometimes at the stuff that you go to an event or something and Winnipeggers are there. Oh yeah, they're having to get some stupid event, and everybody drove through Colorado low to get there, and half of them aren't going to get home again. But you got to go out because that's what they do.
Donnie says he's got 4 foot of snow above his mailbox.
Where are you
Well,
at?
pick your mailbox up. It shouldn't be laying on the lawn.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, you got to call that guy. And if you want to go up on a Saturday, you need to call him and tell him you're coming, and he'll meet you there. Because they're working you in between the tractor trailers, right, that are coming in, the tanker trucks that are coming in. So, yeah, give him a call. And tell him when you want to come, and he'll tell you if it's okay or not. So that's where we get the cheap feed.
That would be nice to have something like that available.
The $1 a gallon for 1-to-1. Well,
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm mixing sugar and it's costing me $1.15 a liter.
Exactly.
so I buy 5-gallon pails of 2-to-1 sucrose for $10, and then I, put half in one bucket and fill them up. So,
So Donnie, where are you at? You didn't say where you're at. You got all that snow.
let me see. The bus driver here picks up the big families first in case he gets stuck. So he has more pushers.
Been there, done that.
That was my community. That was where I grew up. All the big kids.
My website name is bewares.co. Or there you go, bewares.bigcartel.com. Big Cartel is the website provider. 250 miles south of you, Brad.
50 miles south of me.
In
Fargo.
Canada or what?
Minnesota? Is that Minnesota? No, you guys are closer to what, like Montana? No, you're
250 miles is across the border, correct, Brad?
Yeah, that'd be Fargo.
I don't know why you guys can't get the
Maybe south
Beware
of Fargo.
link to work.
Fargo, North Dakota.
North Dakota.
See, if you look at the North Dakota Minnesota line, that's
Mhm.
that's exactly south of Winnipeg. So that's where we are.
I know my friend, she lives in Minnesota, and she was telling me, I said, about talking to her husband or something about, like you were saying about the school closing, and the kids had to stay at the school overnight because I forget what it was, either ice or something like that. But they didn't close it, because it was still, like you said, negative whatever degrees.
They get some wicked storms in that area. They get some of the way worse storms than we get sometimes. That North Dakota, northern Minnesota, incredible. And that's where a lot of our flooding comes from, because that Red River flows north. So it thaws out in the south and it starts flowing like crazy, and it's still frozen up here. And that doesn't go so well. So
all I know is that. Go ahead, Brad.
I was going to say, we went to town today and noticed that they had done what's called the Amphibex. They've got 3 big, it's kind of like a great big track hoe on a barge. It's not a track hoe on a barge because it's all one machine, but it's a big barge and it's got a big hoe on it. And they break up the Red River between Winnipeg and the lake, so that when the pressure from the south comes up as I described, then it'll push up through that ice better. Otherwise, it just floods the whole place. It's very flat around here, very, very flat.
Yeah, like I said,
I've got a
I know
video
when
on my channel about that Amphibex working on the river. You can see it. It's pretty interesting to see it work. They actually before they go to break it up, they've got a little skid steer, little bobcat skid steer thing. Well, I think it's actually a big bobcat, but anyway, and they've got big tanks welded to the side of it, just in case it goes through the ice. And on the front of this bobcat, they've got a big router bit, and it's got to be, I don't know, 8-10 inches across and about 6 feet long. And he runs that router bit along the river, and he cuts a big score in the ice for miles and miles. And he'll just go back and forth and cut many, many of these slots in the ice. And then this Amphibex comes by and smashes up the ice all the way down the river. It takes a long time to do that, but it's very, very effective.
And then that river flows into that lake that Ian talks about, the escarpment or something or another. I don't know.
No, that's not really where Ian is. It's right beside me. It's about 1.5 miles from me, where it empties into the lake. It's the 11th largest lake in the world. This Lake Winnipeg. It's I was going to say it's probably 600 kilometers long from north to south. Maybe not quite that long, but what's that in miles? Quite a long ways. A few hundred miles from
Ian,
south to north. It's really long.
I'm not far from Charlotte, about an hour and 30 minutes. Not far at all. My son lives in Charlotte, so that's where I go pick up my sugar too. My syrup, Charlotte. Yep, not far at all.
All I know is I've never seen water like there was when I went over there last year to see you there, Brad. Fields and fields and fields. You thought it was a lake, and you knew it was a field because there was a combine or a tractor or a granary or something sitting in the middle of the field. That's the only way you knew it was. And the water was right up to the highway. I mean, there was no ditch. It just was highway and then water clear across for miles and miles and miles.
And that was just my yard. That was literally my yard. You thought I lived in the middle of a lake, right?
I'm going to bring my rubber boots when I come this year.
Do it. Yeah, I just looked it up, and that lake is 260 miles long from north to south.
So Ian's going to be down here right after Thanksgiving in November.
Nice. November.
So
what's he going to be at?
He said he's going to be in Charlotte November 30th. He just asked me how far I was to Charlotte.
Oh, that's November. That's next winter. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I mean, it's only 3 months for them. No, it's gonna. That's not that. I mean, 9 months away or so.
It's the third month of winter, November.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at the map here, and I see you got Winnipeg down at the bottom end of that Lake Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And then Manitoba's north of that, way north.
Well,
it extends north.
All right, I get it. Manitoba
Winnipeg
is the name
Manitoba.
of the area.
The name of the province, yeah.
The name of the state or whatever you want, province. Okay.
Yeah. You might call it a state.
Now, where are you at, Brad? What little town is it?
Well, north of Winnipeg,
I see Brandon and Dauphin and
north of Winnipeg, you see Selkirk. It's kind of northeast.
I see Selkirk. Yeah.
Okay, go northeast of that. You see Libo, Libau.
Labibo, yeah, but Labont.
Labibo. No, it's 2 syllables. Libo.
Now, so you got Selkirk. And then there's a
and north.
LACDUBONNET.
Let me see.
Lactabonny. Oh, you're not even zoomed in. Lactabonny is 30 miles east of me.
Oh, Libo. There,
Zoom in a bit.
LIBAU.
Yeah, you go 3 miles straight north of that little town. That's my farm.
Let me see.
Poplar Park.
State meetings.
Poplar Park. Well, just north of that. Northwest a little bit. Poplar Park is a mile
Ukraine
from me.
Catholic Parish of St.
Yeah, not
John.
that far. You should have a pin. It should say Faith Apiaries there.
Don't have any.
Oh, you
Got
got that
Google
on Google Maps?
Yeah, Google Maps.
It should say Faith Apiaries.
Ian, they don't have their website to that far out. Let me see if I can look at their calendar.
Hey, Melanie Cruz, how are you doing?
Yeah, they don't have it that far out.
I see it. I found it. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, Charlotte's not far from me, though. I'll definitely be there. If you're going to be there, Ian, I'm going to be there. If you're going to be in Charlotte, I'll be there for that one.
Go over and see the man.
Not sure what the meeting's for. It's for
Yeah, we'll find out what the meeting is. I'll drive down that far.
pints and steaks. That's what the meeting's for. And Hope is 30 miles south of Charlotte. So you're going to have a welcoming committee. But yeah, definitely we'll go there. I was thinking about going up there on Saturday to they're having their conference this weekend, and let me see who's going to be there. I know Cayman's going to be there, and then there's some other doctor that I'm unaware of. Let's see, Cayman. Well, Corey Stevens is going to be there. There you go. And then Morgan Roth, PhD from Liberty University, is going to be there.
Never heard of him.
How
Yeah,
far
David.
is Charlotte from you, Charlie?
From
8
me?
hours.
I don't know.
But Corey's going to be there in Cayman. And let's see. And then one other guy. And then I guess they're going to have a honey show. And there's a few beekeeping supply companies. Hey, matter of fact, the company that I bought my bottling machine from is going to be there, James. Bailey's.
There you go.
So once I figured out how to do it, it worked well.
It works. And it shuts off by weight, right?
Yeah. So you have to. It didn't say it in any of the videos that I watched on it, but you have to set a trigger weight. So if your jar is 24 grams, you have to set the trigger weight like 23, 22 grams. So when you set that weight on there, it knows, oh, okay, there's a jar. And then you got to set how many grams you want to be put in the jar, right? And then it worked fine. Of course, I had already done 3 cases of pint before I put that one in there. So
yeah, I got to make up a bunch of creamed honey again this weekend. So,
but it worked pretty well. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have it. The honey wasn't warmed. It was just room temperature. So it was a little bit slower coming out. But that's how they had it at the show, right?
Yep.
They didn't have any heater on it. So worked well. Worked pretty well. But
most excellent.
Anyway, guys, 11:35 at night here. One more day of work. Charlie's not having a live
No.
night. So
It's about 7 hours.
7 hours for you.
No, I'm going to go out tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, to the band. He's got to cut a rug tomorrow.
He's going jigging.
No, I'm just going to go see a
have
band.
a life instead.
Huh?
He's gonna have a life
instead.
Yeah. I'm going to go see the Panorama boys.
There you go.
Looks like one of us is going to have to fill in for Charlie and have a live.
Yeah. Bob will take care of that. James can do that. Or you,
Actually, I
Brian.
haven't.
do that.
I was gonna say I haven't done it yet. I'll have to try that one of these days and just get it figured out.
Do it, James.
So,
Well, look at
But,
he's even becoming an interviewer. I mean, he's done Corey Stevens and he's done Andrew Munn. So he's doing interviews now.
who's that?
Ian.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So, yep.
And I love his interviews because he says, "Hold on, I'm gonna get a shot of bourbon real quick."
Yeah. Let me refill.
Yeah. He's coming back down there in November just to get a refill of his first aid kit.
Oh yeah, right.
There you go. There you go.
Gets
Gotta have a well-stocked first
there.
aid kit.
So
I might have to bring him some.
there you go.
So that'd be fun. Does Charlie have any accumulated days off yet? No, Charlie Chad. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. Charlie's got his hours now. He's not worried about it.
Yeah, I got my hours. I just need
There
to
you
get
go.
I got to get my subs.
Actually,
Maybe we'll do a Saturday night Charlie Chat.
there you go.
Saturday.
What did you have?
Charlie,
What did you have on your 1 year, Bob? 100 and what?
111 at one time.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. And then I got hate mail the next day. So,
Oh,
yeah. Can't make everybody happy. I've learned that the hard way.
uh-oh.
So, and it had nothing to do with the stream at first. It was a question about the bullets. And I said, well, it's somebody that had bought a bottle of lure and they wanted me to send them bullets with no lure in it, just the crystal and the vial. And I said, well, I really don't sell them like that. I haven't priced it like that. It's a pain in the butt, first of all, because the crystal is literally the size of a grain of sand, right? So these little grafting glasses came in handy. I learned a trick with that too. Look, new gadget, Brad. And and so
he's trying to keep up with Lee with his gadgets.
Using the tweezers and those, it does make it go quicker, but it costs the same amount to ship the lure or the vials in the pack as it does with the lure in it. So,
Well, and that's
so
what
I said,
charge 'em.
well, I mean, I would have just sent him the
you're not
vial.
running a charity here. Right?
Well, when I said that, he said, okay. And then all of a sudden I got this long hate text on how it was shitty
Hey,
of me to.
it wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't you this time. And how shitty it was of me to let Lee accumulate all the stuff for the giveaway. And this is how that went down. Lee said, hey, I'm getting a few things to do a giveaway on the stream. I said, well, that's cool. If you need me to help you pay for some of it, I'll send you some money or whatever. And he's like, don't worry about it. That's how that went down. And then right when we're in the back room before the stream, he's like, oh, well, I got this person said they want to give something away. And it became this big, long list, right? And then I gave the extractor away. Oh, you only gave the extractor away to save face. Don't take Lee down with you. You're a big piece of crap. That's basically the gist of the text. And I'm like, really? Because I wouldn't sell you vials and empty vials. That's what it came to. So it's just, what happens. So what do you do?
It's called having a bee in your bonnet.
Yep.
We all know what that's like.
Yep. So, whatever. Just do what we do. And
So before Brad, on that green screen, I've been contemplating and measuring and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
You getting like the stands and stuff? Or you just got the green stuff and hooked it to your wall or what?
Yeah, it's just pinned to the wall.
Just pinned to the wall.
of course, it's not that far behind him where you're kind of more in the center of your room, Charlie. So it might be harder for you to do it that way.
Well, I got a bureau and stuff behind me, and
But you got nothing. Like you don't got no screen or anything behind you.
no, it's mine's a virtual. You see how it breaks across my head. See how there's a light up there, and that's
Yeah,
in,
you
that's
get that
because there's a
that
mirror
glare off
behind
your
me.
head.
I thought that was a reflection from his halo.
Mm-mm. Now you see, I do have the light above me here. I did
Move it.
get it. I did have make up a diffuser for that, so now I got an even lighting on me.
There you go.
It's
I
called a
haven't got anything behind me, and this works out great because I can sit on my chair and I can start up the fireplace and just sit here and enjoy the chat.
Yeah, it's just a white wall.
See, I don't know if I lifted this out of the way.
It's not a hat, Brad.
It's not a hat. It could be a hat. It really could.
Could be a turban.
See, maybe.
But yeah,
Nope,
it
still ain't working.
still can't get it to work, huh?
That's
Well, now,
interesting.
Charlie's worked perfect the other. I mean, but it was only on.
It's only this big.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that was a green screen that I attached to my chair, and what I found is that my camera angle, I need something like 8 feet wide in order to do it. Now I've been looking at these green screens where you have the 2 tripod stands and a bar going across, and
yeah, I got
there's one that's about 9 feet wide, and there's one that's like 10 feet wide, and the 10 feet will go up 10 feet in the air. Well, I don't need that. I only need to go up about, I measured it here about, because there's some picture or things on the wall here. It's about 7 foot tall. And, but I don't know whether to buy the darn thing or not. I got lights, sent them back, got that other green screen thing, sent that back, which I mean, it's not a hassle. It's easy to send back. But I don't know whether to spend the money or not, $80 or something like that for the stands.
Well, maybe if there was a video on it, like that hive lifter.
It'll soon be coming out of the shop. I can finish it.
You got to take your show tires off of it first.
Yeah, I mean, you figure James has been super busy with all his woodwork and everything, which is more important than that video.
Have you guys seen my garage? I'm running.
Yeah,
I'm running out of room in my garage.
Yeah, you got it up to the roof.
So it is getting full, which is nice because I ran out of woodware last year. I'm really hoping I'm hoping I run out of woodware this year. If I run out of woodware this year, I will not be complaining at all.
Well, you got enough to do 100 single or 100 hives.
So
50 pallets.
Yep. And everything goes good. I'll be picking up my dipping tank tomorrow.
They got it built.
So then I got to build the stand and stuff like that for it. We'll see. The weather still isn't nice enough to start dipping outside there yet, but I'll start welding up the stand and actually easy enough. Some guys at the shop there, they've got a couple threadlets. We'll get them welded in, get the thermal wells in it, get the thermostat hooked up to the gas valve, and it should be coming out really, it should work out really well for me.
The
green screen for $8. That must be a paint.
I was thinking about just painting this wall.
That's all it would take. That's all it would take.
Yeah, I was just thinking about. I said that to Carol today. So just paint the wall.
That's what the Bugman does. He's got a wall painted up, and and away he goes. That's how he made the stingometer for me when I was down there.
The stingometer. It sounds like me, man. I got tore up.
James, did you see that?
What will be your dipping tank mix? So I'm just I've ordered the Hive Guard, Ian. Just the Hive Guard mix there. So I'm just a little bit out of time here right now. Next year I'll research a little bit more the microcrystalline and the paraffin wax and what the proper ratio and stuff like that will be. I just don't have time this year, so I just ordered the Hive Guard for this year.
Just 50.
What's that? A premium?
I'm sorry. I think it's 50-50, but
Yeah,
You know,
I'm certain it is.
so
Who sells that?
that comes from what is it? Canadian Wax Supplies. Actually, I think that's in your neck of the woods too.
But isn't that what HiveGuard is?
I think it is 50-50. They don't tell you exactly what is on it.
Yeah.
If you look up HiveGuard wax, I think it's Canadian Wax Distributors or Canadian Wax Supply.
Yeah.
But they will sell you the paraffin and the microcrystalline. But I think I can get the microcrystalline much cheaper out of Vancouver. So there's
yeah.
right there's a
No,
large
I'm
wax
certain
distributor there.
50-50.
So
All right, guys. Well, you guys can stay on as long as you want to. However, this guy's going to bed. So
You're shutting it down.
I'm shutting it down.
All right.
Canadian Wax Supply. Where are
that's
they?
the one. I think they're out of on. I'll forward the address and everything like that off to Bradian, and he can forward it off to you. I don't have your email address there, so but I'll get it to you there tomorrow. I got all the information on my computer there at work.
The email address is themanthemyththelegend@gmail.com.
Actually, I think I do have your email address, Ian. I think I do have it. So I'll track that down and I'll fire it off to you there.
All right, guys. Well, as usual, we appreciate everyone. The
Hi, Steve.
yeah, another impromptu showing a gadget for Brad video on the Swarm Trooper, and ended up in a great conversation as usual. So I appreciate you guys, and
That's fun.
see what this weekend takes us being Charlie-less.
Charlie-less, yep. I'm looking forward to that video to see what you got for cells there. Are you doing that tomorrow or Saturday?
Tomorrow's the day, right? By the spreadsheet, tomorrow's the day.
Do it when it's nice and warm in the afternoon.
Yep. So we're gonna
nice and gentle.
Who won the friendly bet of how many cells would actually?
I got that right here. Brad, you're not in on this. Do you want to get in on this, or anybody else want to get in on this before we hang up tonight?
What are we doing?
So he grafted 22 cups, and the question is his first go around he grafted 21 and he got 2 cells.
Yep.
So I'm a strong believer he's going to do much better this time around. So I've got a little list going here of how many cells everybody figures they're going to have.
Is it over under or is it over bust?
It closest to. Oh, we got Michael there with 8.
I say double it. You're going to double what you got. So what
So
is
you
that for?
say I'm gonna get 4 then?
Well, that's double, so that's good.
Okay, Brad's at 4. Oh, Donnie says
haven't
9.
been in it at all this whole week. So after I grafted and put the frame in, I have not been back in other than to add feed to the top feeder. So I haven't been able to see in the colony at all.
So we're better off already because we've managed to keep his tinkeritis down to a minimum here.
Tinkeritis.
That's
right.
Oh. So Silver's at 5.
Donnie says 9. Silver Gorilla says 5. Wonder what Ian thinks. Robert Souther says 5.
Oh, I need another piece of paper here now. This is going to be interesting.
Uh-oh.
And we haven't discussed any winnings, so this is just for fun.
Maybe you give away another extractor to the guy who wins or something.
No. I can't afford that.
No.
I haven't sold enough Swarm Lure for that. Well, I mean, technically I have if Amazon would pay me my money.
Yeah.
Give
See?
away the Swarm Lure.
I hope
that's a good
the
price.
feed didn't leak onto the cells. Exactly. So just hoping for no sticky cells.
It is a top feeder, so that would only be on the ends, right? So
he's got it in a licensed insulated hive, so that's even better.
Yeah, it's a little harder to get that food to drip on the center of them.
Yeah, but
All
also
right.
keeps the cells warm.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Anybody else want to get in on this tonight? Because
I was waiting to
he's
see
going to
if-
check. He's going to check
I
him
think
tomorrow.
I think you got me down for what, 9 or something like that.
Charlie is down for. You were originally at 8, and then you went up to 10.
Okay, whatever.
What's Bob's guess? I'm hoping for 10.
So he grafted 22 because his OCD wouldn't let him do 11 or 21. He had to have both bars the same.
Well, yeah, the first time I did 7, 7, and 7, and they're like, "Oh, just use the top 2." And then I had 11 and 10. I said, "Oh, I can't do that. That won't work." So I have to put 11 and 11. So
When he was talking about it, he was like, "I can't. They're not equal." 18.
Spanky says 18.
I'll be curious. I did add a lot of extra bees, more bees than were in the beginning, and the other brood frame should have hatched out by now. So.
Yeah, you were way too short bees there the first time around.
Well, I mean, just like we've been saying to you, you're
And some of them have converted to foragers now, so they're out there like getting stuff. So
yeah, but you had multiple mistakes, but you tweaked all that since you've learned from the first time, and it should be better.
if you did 21, I have faith in your skills. 15.
That sounds like a Chinese fortune cookie.
15. Alrighty.
All right, 15. So see, if I got 21 out of 22, even would be like, "Hey, you want to come help carry out graft this summer?" So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow will be the day. So the real question is, do I do it as a YouTube video or do I do it as a live video?
No, I think there's a lot of people. You probably want to do it as a YouTube video.
Okay.
YouTube it, but then run it as a premiere.
There you go.
That'll work. And that way I don't have to worry about the camera trying to hold the frame and my phone and everything else at the same time. So
like I said, when you pull them out,
tripods and stuff. That's gadgetry.
I've got one for this Max. Have you seen this GoPro? It's like the bastard son of GoPros.
There you go.
It's got dual cameras on the front and back, and it does 360 video and photos.
Did you ever get it working?
You know what I had to do is twice after getting it started, I have to go in there and set it back, even without changing anything. Have to go back in there and set it to factory settings, and it'll fix it. So
I agree with Ian. Unedited.
Oh, I don't edit. You guys watch my videos. I don't edit nothing. It might blend in, but that's just 2 clips blending together. It's not.
And if I can give you a little tip, so being as we're not sure about your first 2,
I don't think you're capable of giving me a little tip.
Be very careful and use a brush and very gently brush the bees off that frame.
No, just give it a good shake like that, Bob. That'll get the bees off. That'll get the bees off for sure.
You know, one thing that bugs me.
And the cups.
So with these frames, this is obviously one that was in there last time that I took out, right? Because you could see the wax. But sometimes some of these are not as tight as the other ones. So when you're brushing,
I know why.
It's China's.
I can tell you why.
Why?
Because the little tit on the cup is not round; it's oval. If it's not tight, just turn it about a quarter turn.
See? You know, James has been teaching me this whole time. You'd think he would have said, "Hey, you know, Bob, you need to twist them a little bit."
He didn't know that.
I don't use those.
Oh, see, now comes the excuse.
Why he didn't know that.
Now here comes the excuses.
No excuse. I told you right from the get-go, I use a wooden bar and I run my saw down there.
And a bent coat hanger and a bunch of old.
You see how that just shot out of there?
No expensive gadgets. Yeah, just a quarter turn, it'll tighten up.
Yeah, but the thing is, watch, if you just barely tip it, it literally shoots out of there. It pops out with force. So
I
it's
use exactly the same system and don't have a problem.
well, you've been doing this for a minute longer than me, or so.
Yeah.
No, I have not. Well,
When did you start
I don't know.
grafting?
Is this your very first time?
This is
Yes.
the second round of my first.
Yeah.
Last time was his very, very
Well,
first time he managed to get
I have
two
had a
cells,
little more practice, but not much. And I do know that those little things that go into the bar aren't round. Because I had the same problem. I was thinking, how come half of these aren't tight? And then I give them a little bit of a turn and they tighten up.
Well, the thing is that if you don't have them turned like that, which I'm pretty sure they're not in the ones that are out there, that if you go to brush them, bloop, right off.
You got yourself an
Maybe.
electric blower,
Yep.
a
Little
battery
leaf
operated blower.
I don't have a little one. I've got the big one.
No, a little one. Little
But
handheld blower.
last
You can-
time I
you
just
can
took
blow
my
'em off.
my bee brush and just barely touched them, and the bees.
yeah. There's the answer.
And you
That's how
don't
you
have-
get success, Bob. You need a carry.
Yeah,
Bob, you don't have to brush them. If you're worried about it, don't brush them down. Just kind of brush across and touch them,
go
and they'll
sideways and
go
they'll
away.
just-
Yeah.
all right.
Blow on
But
them.
get a-
You know.
You,
that way.
you said you got a real soft brush, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the like a horsehair brush or whatever it is.
Okay.
It works
do
good to
that.
get bees in out around a tail light on a
Mercedes.
Mercedes van.
Well, that stupid light on the back of there, that LED light bar, it was all louvered, so the bees could just go in and out of the back of the light.
So I don't have a
Yeah.
carry. I got an
had a
Allen.
carry.
Yeah, I don't have a carry. I got an
had a
Allen.
carry.
I think we all wish we had a carry.
The problem is if
I know.
I hired Carrie, she wouldn't want to go back to Canada because she'd be going to the beach, into the mountains, and right here you can get both places. Might not get any work out of her because she'd be going to the beach and to the mountains.
Oh, I don't know. Carrie's a real bear for work. She loves to work hard. That's one thing I know about her.
Load him off, big bad wolf. Yeah, I do that too sometimes. Like on my frames when I'm looking, I'll just give them a little blow and they'll just move out of the way. So, anyway, guys, been trying to leave for 30 minutes, and you know how we are.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now it's midnight, and
here I've got them all. So
now we know.
now we know.
And yep, we'll check it out. So anyway, I'll film that tomorrow, and hopefully the footage comes out. Otherwise, you'll have to take my word for it.
Oh no, that don't work.
100%.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night, and thank you for sitting around for our hijinks. And who knows? We'll probably be live Charlie-less tomorrow or this weekend for sure. And we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
See
Good
ya.
night.